Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Putin's war in Ukraine. Okay, this is my third video on the topic of Putin's war in Ukraine. So, as the time progresses, I like to keep you with the update of Putin war in Ukraine. So why it is called Putin war? Because Putin wants the war. What I know, no one wants this war except Putin. Even the soldiers, Russian soldiers, even the general saying, I don't want this war, I have to obey Putin. Things like that was said by a general and he was killed. How many general killed, of the Russian general killed? So far, 6 Putin general have been killed. And they say it's a lot. And how many Russian soldiers have been killed? The Ukrainian government said 15,000 of Russian soldiers have been killed. Do you believe that numbers? Well, it's up to you. I think the spokesman in representing NATO saying that's a big number. They say it's a big claim, and so they reduced the number to 7,000 of Russian soldiers been killed. So which number is right, 7,000 or 15,000? It depends on the honesty. For me, people who know it will be Ukrainian government because they count. They know because there will be a reporting system where the army reports how many soldiers they have killed. So if European government is honest, then I'll take the 15,000 Russian soldiers have been killed by the Ukrainian soldiers. If they are honest and not talking about propaganda, things like that, if they are honest, and how many Ukrainian soldiers have been killed, I think they say a figure of 1,500 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed so far. So when I said this to my son, he said, yes, number of people killed as invaders, there will be more than the defender. So expect that the invader casualty will be more than defender. Especially true in Ukraine because they have the weapons that is seen to destroy the tanks, and they also use drone Bayaktar seen they have destroyed the tanks, the trucks, even the rocket launchers. You just imagine. And also the Stinger missile have destroyed helicopters, jet plane, and also Russian drone have been shot down by the Ukrainian defense. Most of the Russian aircraft were down by Stinger missiles. So Ukrainian had claimed they shot down about 100 of helicopters, like 90 aircraft. How many drones? So in helicopters, so how many men are in helicopters? So maybe pilot and co-pilot. In aircraft, normally one person or two. In tank, it's normally 3. So the Ukrainian had claimed they had destroyed like 500 tanks. So if it's manned by 4 people, 500 times 4, so there are 2,000 already. And then kill in the tank. If the tank is destroyed, so the people inside the tank will also be killed. And there are also, of course, Russian infantry. I've seen the Russian soldiers surrendered. A number of them taken prisoners and their general killed. So just imagine if the Ukrainian soldiers managed to kill the general, then how many soldiers they can kill? The general normally is not in the tank, so most probably he's outside instructing soldiers what to do, what action to take. So if 6 generals are killed, then how many soldiers would be killed with that? So their claim of killing Russian soldiers in number of 15,000 to me is credible. So why they have to have this propaganda of telling the big number than actually is? Because I heard also the prisoners was allowed to talk and relay the message in the YouTube, and prisoners had been saying that many of his friends were killed and he was lucky to survive, to live, and that message is relayed to his family in Russia. So though in Russia the news of what happening in Ukraine is being blocked by Russian government, no one even allowed to mention about war. They have to use special operation but not war. Anyone saying war will be will be caught and then will be taking action. Police will take action. So nobody in Russia can talk about war is going on in Ukraine. And nobody can talk about what's happening, the bog down and the 500 tanks destroyed. So no Russian in Russia know about 500 tanks, Russian tank being destroyed, 15,000 of their soldiers killed. Nobody in Russia knows except the news that have been leaked by the prisoners who had called their family and tell something. Yes, he doesn't know overall picture because we have the advantage of seeing the YouTube, because I heard that in Russia the internet has been cut down, so nobody can look into YouTube and get the information. So, and no news from Ukraine can be relayed or is illegal to relate to the Russian in Russia. So it is kept secret. But eventually keeping secret is difficult because people communicates, the soldiers communicates with their family, and the prisoners, they were given telephone by the Ukrainian people to allow them to call their families and tell their families what happened to them fighting in Ukraine. So that is about something about Putin War in Ukraine, a lot of secrecy and shutdown of information because Putin want to give the impression that everything is okay in Ukraine. They're winning, they conquered land. Yes, they conquered land initially, but then now look like there's a turning point. Even some of the land or the ground that had the Russian army at control is being taken back by the Ukrainian army. So many small towns in the suburb of Kiev have been taken back. Something like 30 small towns have been taken back, and the Russian army has been pushed away 70 kilometers away from where they had advanced, nearest to the Kiev town center. Not only that, in the south, where the city called Monipol, or I can't pronounce the name, where they were conquered, they were surrounded, and then this town was almost completely destroyed, 90% destroyed, and the Russian asked the people there with the army who defend the town of the southern town coast of Black Sea. What sea is called? the Black Sea. I think the name is Black Sea. Yes, they were asked to surrender, but then the people there refused to surrender, and then the Russian army was almost surrounding. I think they already encircled the town, and Ukrainian threatened the Russian army to leave the area. So you just imagine, Ukrainian is giving the ultimatum to the Russian who encircle the town of Mariupol, saying that leave the area. So when the story is when Russian who believe they are strong, who believe they are in the upper hand, refuse, then the Ukrainian army attacked them. So the Ukrainian army was in the offensive and managed to destroy a lot of the Russian equipments and kill, and actually the Russian army retrieve to the Black Sea. So the Russian soldiers retrieve when they were attacked by the Ukrainians. So this Ukrainian army still have the resources and the means. Of course, they have these weapons, which is been proven to be effective. I think I can name few weapons that was shown to be effective in encountering the Russian army. The Bayraktar TB2 drone, the Stinger missile, Javelin missile, Endo missile, and these are the topmost effective weapons that have been used by the Ukrainian army. There are also more weapons coming, like US promised to give US drone, but I have not heard that they have been used yet, so maybe it's still on the way. US drone, the US want to supply Ukrainian army with its drone, and also Taiwan also promised to send drones to Ukraine army. This Taiwan drone will not be carrying weapon, but they are more used as a surveillance and to tell the target to the Ukrainian artillery, so that the artillery of the Ukrainian can target and fire the artillery more accurately to hit the target. So this is very useful. Even Bayraktar drone also can give targets After they complete or finish off their missile, then the battle drone still flying, and they give information of the coordinates to the artillery squad. So very interesting war actually in Ukraine, where technology is used to the full. And what else? Yes, now Ukrainian is fighting effectively against Russian, and I also heard that Belarus, the country in the north of Ukraine, at one time looked like they were scared of Russia, so they were like puppet to Russia. So Belarus was used as a springboard for the Russian army to go to, because at one time they were quite friendly with the Russia because they were scared. Maybe if they don't have the Russian, they also will be invaded and the country will be conquered by Russia. So that's make Belarus scared of Russia, and they allow Belarus be used as their springboard, and the train that start in Belarus travel to Ukraine, and Russia is making use of this railway to transport materials, their tank. I've seen that in video. Of course, the rail can take a big number of tanks. It just pull the train, and a big number of tank was transported to Ukraine. I've seen the video. So it was a good logistic. But then recently I heard the train worker, they are in the side of Ukraine, and they destroy the rail. So when the rail is destroyed, the logistic that supply weapon and take the weapons to Ukraine is no longer there. And so we've seen that Russian is in sort of supply, because so many of their tanks been destroyed, and hard to replace. Even their soldiers have been killed, and they say they don't have manpower to really conquer the capital or many cities, as many of them were killed, and then 15,000 killed is a big number and very hard to replace. So I heard that Putin want to recruit people, the Syrian people, to help them. I don't know whether Syrian people actually helping them. So far I'm not seen. And of course the Chechen were helping them. the Muslim section helping them, but don't believe they are real Muslim. To me, the Muslim should not be supporting the people who do destruction. Of course, as I predict, if there's section that help the Putin, there must be section that help the Ukrainian. So I just seen a video that the Chechen Muslim also helping the Ukrainian. So what I had predicted was correct. There must be Chechen that help the Ukrainian, because they are also helping the people who've been bullied or suppressed, and what they are doing is actually correct. But the Chechen who helping Putin in this war is not doing correctly in this world. So I've been posting that they will suffer. This Chechen who support Putin will suffer in the next world, if you believe in the day of judgment and the next world. If you don't believe it, you will not believe it. It doesn't matter to me. But for us, the Muslim, believe there will be a day of judgment, and the Chechen who help Putin will be in the disadvantage in the day of judgment, whilst the Chechen who help the Ukrainian, who oppose or try to go against the people who cause damage, will be more in favor in the day of judgment. And they are seen to me, I've seen them and heard what they are saying. They are true Muslim who always put their remembrance in the power of Allah when they do the fighting. So hopefully this will raise the spirit of the Ukrainian to fight. Of course, this Chechen Muslim who fight for the Ukrainian, they are fighting and ready to die for it, and they were brave. They are brave and not afraid, and ready to sacrifice their life and half with their full heart. Okay, I think what else? I think I have enough of talking on Putin War this morning. So in short, the Ukrainian are fighting back well. More ground that have been conquered by the Russian had been taken back. They managed to push 70 kilometers of Russian line from the capital city, and they also managed to push and maybe hopefully will remove the Russian army that had encircled the city in the south, Mariupol, and help the people there who had been trapped. There were lack of food because the Russian won't allow that. The Russian are trying to starve them deprive them of the essential like food and water. They were very in a dire situation. And when I heard that the Ukrainians were able to push the Russian army from the area, then it's a very joyful news that they are now able to remove the encirclement of the Russian army, and there was also a general that had been killed in that area. What else? There are other story that the company that manufactured Russian tank was not able to supply the Russian army with tanks anymore, because part of the components of the tank were actually from outside the country, and then when there's a sanction, then the supply of material not available, so they cannot make the new tanks for the Russian army. This news was taken with joy by the Ukrainian President of Russia not able to make new tanks. I was also surprised with the news that Russia still rely on other countries to make tanks. So Russia is trying to get help from China. Maybe they want to buy tank from China as well. Maybe what else? Maybe missile as well. So because all this weapon of war being consumed at very fast rate in Ukraine. Even the Ukrainian President keep asking that weapons need to be replenished very quickly, because very fast it is consumed. So American is actually increase the budget to be spent in this war with Russia. So they have been spending, the allocated budget was 300 million, but now raised to 800 million. So almost 1 billion. So meaning that more weapons will be allocated or be given to Ukrainian from US. So expect more weapons from US, especially the Stinger missiles and the Javelin missiles, which is very effective. Maybe what is new is that US will be supplying Ukraine with their drone, but I'm still waiting for the drone and see how effective it is compared with the Bayraktar Turkish drone. Okay, if that happen, then we will see a turning point where now the Ukrainian army is more on the offensive. They were defensive before, now it's their turn to be offensive. And being offensive, they had been very successful in pushing the Russian, and most Russian soldiers is expected to surrender or just run away from the battle. And I also heard that Russian soldiers steal cars. With the stolen cars, they remove their uniform and use normal shirts, and then stole the car and then drive the car to Belarus to escape from the war and save their life. So they see that the war is no longer winnable when Russia unable to supply them with weapons, even food. So Russian soldiers was known to ask for food from the Ukrainian people because their lack of food. So expect now that war will be a turning point for Ukrainian to win this war, and this will be called a big defeat for Russia. This will be a lesson to Russia to be not to attack other country. Yes, they were successful before in attacking other country, but then that country they attack was small, not given weapon to fight back. But then if the people who are attacked given the right weapon, they should know that they cannot win the war with the spirit of the people, because the people who defend their country has higher spirit, ready to die to defend their country, and we only need to give them the right weapons, and they would make full use of the weapon, and fighting very hard will eventually they will prevail. This is what President of Ukraine been saying. We will prevail. Okay, thank you very much for listening.